What's up, guys? Welcome back to Price to Sell. Today we spoke to someone who is a very good friend of mine and also crushing in the business, Jessica Ragimov, aka Jess Sold on Instagram. Only been in the business 2 years. So for all you new people out there in the business who are looking for some sort of inspiration, this is it. She has been crushing it. So if she can do it, so can you. And before we get into all the goodies, we got some more goodies. If you haven't checked out the merch yet, link in the description, pricetosellpodcast.com. Go get yourself a hat, t-shirt, a sweater, whatever you're feeling. They're very popular and they are going quick. And if you have not subscribed to the Field Trips channel, please go ahead and do that if you guys want to see some really cool properties around the world that I will be touring personally with the agents. We've done some pretty cool cities and countries so far, Bahamas, New York, Miami, and we're gonna continue. So go and check that out. And other than that, you guys go ahead and enjoy this episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Price to Sell podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Campoli. And today we have another amazing guest here. And we are blessed to have Miss Jess Ragimov in the building, on the couch, ready to pop some value out there. She's a young little superstar, only 2 years in the business, but crushing it already. And we connected, similar mindset, you know. So soon to be a leader in the industry as well. I can forecast that, but welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, you also are familiar with this space because you have your own little podcast, right?
Yeah.
Called Find Your Place Podcast.
It is, yeah.
Have you found your place?
I'm finding my place.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm always going to be kind of in that journey of finding. Do we ever find our place?
Most will say no. Yeah,
Have
a lot
you
will
found
argue.
Your place? On
Never.
the right side of the couch?
I feel very out of place.
Do you?
We'll put it like that.
Want to switch?
No.
Okay.
I'm a very generous guy. So,
Thank you.
but yeah, what's that about? Tell us about Find Your Place.
Yeah. So creating a podcast has actually been something I've been journaling about for quite some time. It's been 2 years, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't know how to get started. I didn't have any of the tools, equipment, and like that how I feel like usually stops us from moving forward with whatever we want to do. It's always been on my mind. Met Bianca a year ago at a friend's house. We chatted, we connected, and then a few months later, I posted a video and she messaged me. She was like, we should do a podcast. And I was like, yeah, we should. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we contacted the boys. We got some additional information and we just set a date by when we want to start it. And here we are. Yeah.
Execution.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people lack. Like everyone has amazing, incredible ideas, but executing is usually the challenge. So.
It's always the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Just like actually doing it. I feel like broken record a lot of times, like a lot of the conversations you have, like, but how can I do this? How can I do this? Just do it,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, but let's tell us a little bit about Jess before real estate, getting into real estate, why real estate?
Yeah, so Jess before real estate. It's funny because when I was younger, real estate was always a topic that we were discussing at the table. On the weekends, my dad has a passion for real estate. He's not in the industry, but like he stays up late watching shows and videos and he's always searching and he knows this and that. So him and I are very similar. We're born one day apart. We're literally the same person. He's my best friend. People have probably seen him all over my socials just because he's a gem. And when I was younger, he would go to open houses and presentation centers when those were obviously a big thing, not like the last 2 years. And so he would take me. My mom was not interested. And I started to develop a love for that because obviously I was bonding with my dad, but also doing something super cool. I'm a creative person. I like anything that involves me seeing, touching, and asking questions. So that was really cool for me. Didn't end up doing anything with it. I went to university. And then after I accomplished all those, university goals, I was like, I want to get back to what it is that I want to do. So yeah, I got into the industry. November 9th marks 2 years. And it's been an incredible 2 years. I'm so thankful that I switched industries or fields. However, I still feel like I was in the education space before that. I still feel like I'm utilizing that on a regular basis, if not more than before.
Yeah.
And I think that teachers make great agents, brokers, team leaders, like all of that, right? I think the skills are transferable. So yeah, 2 years in, it's not all highs, it's been lows as well. But I think that that's just the beauty of like, if everything was easy, I don't think we would do it. So this was actually one of the things that I was like, if I'm going into this is not going to be easy, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. What'd you study in school?
So I did a Bachelor of Arts, double major criminology and French studies.
Okay.
And then why did we study the same thing?
No, I feel like we had, maybe it wasn't you. I remember that day we had that summit.
Yeah.
I felt like you said history.
I taught history in my first year.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I studied history. So I
Yeah.
remember there's some sort of like synergy there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I share a similar background with trying to studying to history, and then I was going to teach, and then somehow fell in here. But now I love like helping other agents when I can. Like you do feel like you're teaching, you know?
Yeah.
So you're taking those skills, and you're right, very transferable. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
And but yeah, you came out the gates crushing it. So I mean, a lot of the audience, they're newer agents. This year's been tough for many, especially those that are starting out.
Yeah.
Seeing the past couple of years, they were, super prosperous, and then here we are in a time where it's like, people just scratching their heads, right?
What do we do?
What do we do? Yeah. So what were some of the things that got you kind of, right out the gates, nice and hot and crushing it?
Yeah, thanks. And you're being very generous. So I got licensed, it was November, and I had a few friends that were in the industry already. So I kind of already had my eye on who I wanted to work with. And I'm the type of person where I could go far alone, but I think I can go further with someone. Maybe that comes back to dance. I was dancing my whole life, and I'd be dancing with a partner, and we could do amazing tricks together, right? So I said to myself, look, I could either work by myself and try to figure this all out on my own, which was a very possible option. I could do that. Or I could just speed up the process, work with someone who eats, breathes, sleeps real estate, who wants to assist me, who can teach me, and then I can assist them in whatever ways, that they need help. So I said, let me put my ego aside and let me jump into this. And oftentimes people don't want to join a team because of the splits that they have there. But I was like, look, this isn't going to be a long-term thing. And that's actually something we spoke about. But I was like, I just want to learn as much as possible. So I decided to join a team. And through that, like, same thing when I was studying at York, in the 3 years that I was studying criminology, I didn't learn half as much as what I did when I worked for the Crown Attorney's Office. And I was there for 3 months, right? So I was with this individual, my team lead. He's really active, literally eats, breathes, sleeps real estate. And I learned everything from like the ground up through him. Anything from like systems, literally from A to Z. So I started there, and then I was able to build some confidence through that. And in my first year, and I think on social media, everything all looks like bright and shiny. My first year, I only bought one client a home. Mm-hmm. That was it. So in the first month, my dad and I bought a pre-con property together. So we jumped in right away, and my parents were able to assist me with that. And then I was working with people who needed to be represented as tenants, and I had one landlord client. So my first year was not, I would say, successful in terms of like how much money I was making, but very successful in terms of how much knowledge I was acquiring. That for me was huge. And that was my theme for my first year. Learn as much as you can. I was aware that I wasn't going to know as much as people that have been in the industry for 25 years. So that for me was really, really, really crucial. And I would jump on any opportunity. Hey, do you want to go here? Yes, no problem. You want to come here? Yep, I'll be there. Like jumping on whatever I could so I can learn as much, and ask a lot of questions as well. So it wasn't just like standing there and watching. I would ask questions. Hey, what does this mean? What does that mean? And then that way I was able to build my confidence in, interacting with my own clients. And then it's funny because everyone's best year was 2021. I was just at a conference yesterday, like 2021. For me, 2022 was a really great year. I mean, we're not done yet, but it was much better than 2021. Obviously, it's, I'm not in my first year anymore. I was able to help a lot more families, do a lot more transactions, and really step into who I am as an agent. So that's been huge for me. And I think the way I look at my business is different than a lot of people do. Not to say one is right and one is wrong, but for me, I don't look at my success through how much money I'm making or how many deals I've done. Although I know it's important, you're running a business. For me, it's how much value have I been able to provide to people and how many new people have I spoken to and helped educate. So long as I'm speaking to a bunch of new people on a regular basis and they know what I do for a living and how I can assist them, I'm very satisfied.
Yeah, I like that. We spoke about that earlier. You mentioned you define success differently. Because I kept dropping the word success on you. And then you're saying like, you know, like in terms of like deals or volume, like, yeah, but more so in different areas. I like that, which is cool because a lot of people might just really only define it as, how many homes did I sell this year? You know, or, you know, am I a good agent, right? But it's all the other things in between that help build that.
I think it really depends on the person, right? Because I can ask you what success means to you, and your answer is probably different than mine. Like, how do you define your success?
If my cat rubs up against my leg.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
So that's how you measure your success,
Yeah,
right?
he does it a lot, so I must be very successful.
Very successful.
Right? Even on my down days, he rubs up against my leg.
There you go. So you're
You know?
successful every day.
He's the best thing in the world.
Sun is
I'm like
shining.
crazy successful
There you
because
go.
he always rubs up against my leg.
You're very lucky.
I know.
I don't have any animals at
Well, it's
home.
time to get one.
I'm really sad.
And
I know.
define your success
know.
around your
I
animal.
know. I probably should.
No, for me, very similar. Like, I mean, it's like I always say, like true happiness isn't just money because I'm a big autobiography guy and looking into like the really successful people and all the things they say because they've reached that point. They've hit
Right,
it. They've
right.
hit that like milestone that
Yeah.
some people literally live and then die never reaching, right? So it's like, what do the people that have reached, what are they saying about that period of when they've hit their mark, right?
Right.
They all say the same. It's like, now what? You know, they hit it and then now what? So,
Yeah.
and then, you know, you look at like the celebrities or the people who have made it who, like the people who have committed suicide. It's like, they have everything the average person would have wanted, but they don't have the true happiness or fulfillment or, you know.
And they have a shit ton of money.
Exactly. So I always look at that stuff and I'm just like, okay, so clearly success isn't just monetary, has to be other things. And that's why I've gotten like the self-development of the game. And I know you're big in that too. And so, yeah, it's just like a combination of everything. I always talk about Tony Robbins and like true fulfillment comes from helping people.
Yeah.
So if you're able to, you know, wake up every day and just help more and more people, and then just money's the byproduct of that, then like
Yes.
that's where true fulfillment will come from, and
Yeah.
that's success to me.
I agree. Yeah. And
Right?
I think money is energy. If you do the things to serve other people, to help other people, which ultimately is helping yourself in some capacity too, like it's going to come flow to you in ways that you probably don't even expect it to. And that's actually what the last 2 years have been for me, you know? And like, I didn't even imagine that I would make as much as I did or serve as many people as I did, but I did, you know, and I'm very happy. However, my life wasn't just filled with work-related tasks, right? So back to your initial question of the Find Your Place podcast, that was a passion project. Makes me extremely happy. Is it profitable right now? No, but I'm doing what I really like, and I'm starting and having conversations with people that I otherwise would not have had.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's and like, is it like you came out with a podcast at this early stage? You know, some people always have that battle of I can't have a podcast. Who am I? I'm not like, you know, a top one realtor. Like I can't have a podcast.
Yeah.
I felt the same way.
yeah.
You know? So again, it's just like all down to the mindset and stuff. You mentioned earlier something about motive. Was it motive genius? Something
Oh,
about
zone of genius.
Zone of genius.
Yes.
What is it?
Yes. Okay, so I'm a student of Bob Proctor. Do you know?
Yeah,
you
of
know who that is,
course.
right? Obviously you do. So, and I'm around a lot of people that are big thinkers, and this is the kind of language that we use. Sometimes I realize that people don't understand this language. So thanks for asking. So for me, zone of genius means that space where I feel at most like myself, and whatever I do flows very easily. I don't have to think twice. It's natural. If someone woke me up and poured water on me, I was like, hey, I need you to do this. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll be there. And I'll do it quickly without having to think about it or like plan for it. So for me, that's what zone of genius is. And essentially, I told myself that if I step more into that zone of genius as I'm going through this journey and through this new career, I'll be able to attract the type of people that I want to be around, but I'll also feel a lot more confident in the things that I do. You just mentioned, you know, people have those questions of who am I to start a podcast? I had the exact same thought come to mind. But then when I knew that Bianca reached out to me, she wanted to do it together, I was like, okay, great, cool. We can do this together. Whereas oftentimes you can kind of get stuck in your head, you know, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you that I deal with imposter syndrome all the time. Who am I to do this? Even though I'm qualified or even though I have experience in something, it always comes back down to that. And it's been a journey to learn to overcome that. So the way to overcome those thoughts that keep reappearing is by stepping into my zone of genius.
Very cool.
So, yeah.
If you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
Always. Yeah.
So you mentioned like you surround yourself with these types of people.
Yeah.
Are they in real estate or just in general?
I mean, a lot of them are in real estate, yes.
Yep.
So I'm part of this community called the Wake Up Call, and a lot of them are either mortgage brokers or real estate agents.
Is that
But
a 5
lot
a.m.
of
thing?
them- Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've heard about this. Very cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Or a lot of them are entrepreneurs. So we're more or less in the same line of work in some capacity. So when we're speaking about things, we can kind of help each other out. And that's been really huge and a big aspect of my success in the last 2 years.
How does that work?
How does the Wake Up Call community work? So it's a community that was created by someone named Joe Trimboli, who he also was a mortgage broker, is in the industry for a very long time. And during COVID, he ended up creating this community. I wasn't there when he initially started it, but I've seen the growth of the community. And essentially, it's like at the gym for your mind. You know, we always talk about going to the gym, looking good. And I always would tell my students, like, look, you guys can physically look phenomenal. You could be ripped, you could have abs, but if this is not right, nothing will be right. And so that physical look is like a Band-Aid solution to what's going on internally.
Yeah.
And a lot of the struggle that we have comes from the inside, right? So we hop on a Zoom call at 5 a.m. and we read books pertaining to self-development and living a prosperous and fulfilling life. And in addition to the daily reading and the coaching, there's yoga, there's master classes, and then also you just have this community that you can tap into. And some people in the community have done such incredible things. So it's good to be around people like that who don't take no and don't take how as an answer. They'll just take action, proceed, and figure it out as they go along.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool. So are you guys reading like a full book together?
Yeah.
You're reading together.
So we're reading. Yeah. People
That's
wonder,
cool.
they're like, who's reading? How's reading? So right
Yeah.
now there's about, I would say 60 people that come in consistently at 5 a.m.
It's like a
call.
good chunk.
And we're now reading the book, The Power of One More by Ed Milet. Bianca,
Love Ed
I
Milet.
love him. He's so incredible.
best.
He's literally
So
just-
articulated.
I wish I could meet him.
Yeah.
And he's awesome.
He's a
And we
boss.
love him. So yeah, so we're reading his book, and essentially how it works is people raise their hands. Like no one's forced to read. You could just sit there quietly. You raise your hand and you read popcorn style. That's a teaching term. Like you just, well, actually, no, it's not popcorn style. You raise your hand, but then you'll go, there's an order that we read in, and then we discuss the themes in the book and tie that back into Bob's teachings, the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, how that works, self-image. How does that prevent us from taking action and doing things? So yeah, it's been
cool.
huge.
Can anyone just join?
Yeah. And
Okay.
I actually advocate for people to join. It'll literally change your life. So
Awesome.
you should hop on. Are you a morning person?
I am.
No, you are. You should hop on. You should check it out. I actually heard about it through 3 people before I joined.
I've heard about this before you too.
Yeah. 2 of which were realtors. And I was like, what are you doing? I thought I was waking up early, 7 a.m. Yeah. And they're like, no, we wake up. We're on at 5:30. I was like, and my first initial reaction was, there's no way I can't wake up at this time.
Yeah.
Until my friend Katrina told Joe that I was interested, and he sent me an email, and I was like, oh, okay, well, now I'm accountable. Like he reached out to me, I can't just sit here and observe from the sidelines. And ever since then, I've been on the call consistently.
How does that prime your day?
It actually, the reason why I joined the call was because when I got into the industry, I didn't know what to do with my time. I was all over the place. Call here, call there. It was also during COVID. I was sitting at home in my office.
Yeah.
Not interacting with anyone. Meanwhile, I was used to being around hundreds of people on a regular basis. So you could see how that could,
Yes, for
affect
sure.
an individual. And I just was not disciplined. And this literally sets my day up. I don't even have a thought of sadness or I don't have depression, but sometimes we wake up and you're like, what do I do? You're really, really low. And I don't have that anymore because I wake up and I have something to look forward to. I genuinely look forward to it.
Very cool. So it's from 5 or 5:30 to.
So the call is open as of 5 a.m. And then people use that time to meditate, to journal. It's an accountability thing.
Yeah.
You can hop on at 5:30. That's when we start until 6:30. And you literally have the rest of the morning to do whatever you want. Go to the gym after, prep myself. And at 11 a.m., it feels like it's 5 p.m. for me already. Because I'm just super productive in those morning hours.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone's different, whether they're a morning person or not. But I think it's crucial just to have that me time. This is a good form of that. And just like connect, away from just the business. The worst thing is waking up and your phone's ringing and it's like, oh my God, real estate. Oh my God, this client. Oh my God, this. And then you're behind.
Yeah.
And you stress. And then your hairline recedes. It's all just
or
a
thins
compound.
out. That's literally what happened to me.
Yeah.
In my first year.
Well, I think that happens the most. Yeah, I'm constantly.
I never thought
thinning.
I would see the day. That's why I cut my hair. It's just healthier now.
Looks great.
Thank you.
So now like you're in the business and all that, what are you doing to like, what's your form of lead gen? Everyone has a different form, or is it just organic? Is it, are you plugging away with a certain kind of like strategy? What do you do?
Yeah. So for me, like I said, I was working with someone and he is like a master cold caller. Incredible. Sometimes I would just sit and listen to him. I'm like, wow, you are really, really, really good. So I've tried everything and I've done it all. I personally don't enjoy cold calling, which is weird because I like talking on the phone, but I don't enjoy cold calling. So that I won't do unless I'm calling around a listing or there's a specific neighborhood that my clients really want to move into. Door knocking, I enjoy. I'm like what is that saying? Belly to belly. Like I like to see people. I like to talk to people.
Yeah.
That I really enjoy. And I don't actually sell at the door. I just introduce myself. It's a quick, like I want to get in front of as many people as possible and leave them with something.
Yeah.
And I would say online for me has been really big for my business. I've reconnected with people from high school, people I used to go clubbing with. They used to party a lot. And I've actually taken care of a lot of those people, right? Because there's already some sort of point of contact there. They trust me. They know my character. They know who I am. They knew what kind of student I was. So right away, there is, a level of comfort. That for me is very important. I want to take you through that journey and I want to make sure you feel good through the journey. So it's been online. I actually have a story to share where I think it's very important to see the value in keeping those relationships going. So last year, there was an agent who made a post on Facebook. My team lead tagged me in it, and it was about an assignment in Vaughan. We're from Vaughan. We live in Vaughan. So I reached out to the agent, and she was interviewing a bunch of agents. And she was like, hey, I'm going to have an assignment coming up soon. Just wanted to know kind of like, what kind of business do you do? Do you specialize? So we had a conversation, really brief conversation. And a year later, like that was it. It's like conversation. I was like, I should probably chose another agent. A year later, at a time I was really down, it was the market started to shift.
Oh, so this was a seller.
This was an agent who reached out to me from out of town.
But the Facebook ad, it was a seller?
No, it was an agent.
Why was she
making
interviewing?
A post because she wanted to send a referral to someone. She doesn't know
for
anyone.
Referral.
From,
I see.
Sorry, my bad. I should have prefaced that.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
So a year later, at a time where the market was really low, well, not low, the market started to shift. It was April, like in my area where I started to notice it. I had a listing. My clients declined a really good offer, and I was like, oh my God. There was just a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And I was always working on the side of like the more challenging side, I would say. I was working with buyers when it was a seller's market, and then, things switched around. So I was at the gym, I remember, at LA Fitness, and I opened my DMs and she reached out to me. She's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but we spoke last year. My clients are now ready to sell. They actually ended up moving into the property. And I was like, no way. So I reached back out to her and she ended up telling me, I didn't know this. She's like, I've been following you for a year on Instagram and I really like who you are and how you present yourself and what you represent as a person. And I think you would take really good care of my clients. And I look back and she's been following me and I didn't know. Followed her back, my bad. But it's just to say that like, you are not only, selling real estate. There's so much more to you far beyond being an agent. And if you can showcase that and really show your authentic self, people will be drawn to that and people will be able to connect to that. Will everyone connect to that? No, but some people will, right? So that's why I actually started posting things that are a big part of my life. I remember when I first posted any dance related content on my Instagram page, we had a family friend call my dad and he's like, hey, Mike, Jess is posting dance things on her business page, you know, kind of saying that that isn't a good thing. And I was like, you know what? It is what it is. That's his own.
Was he a realtor?
Yeah.
That's why he said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a great guy. I think he was just looking out for me, kind of like, you know, it might not be professional. Once again, you know, you have to present yourself a certain way. You have to wear a suit. I'm just super cash. This is me, you know, I don't always dress up. So I ended up actually doing more of that. And that actually started a lot of conversations with people. Now when people are connecting with me, it's like, oh my God, you dance. And you build a relationship. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is social media has worked for me. It's not the only method, but it has been a really great way for me to build relationships with people that I already had relationships with and new ones. And yeah, just find ways to talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah, it's key what you said there. You're consistent. So a lot of people think that you make a post on today, like today is Friday, and you're going to get a sale from it.
Yeah.
But there's people watching for a year or 2 years that are consistently watching, especially if you're consistent. They kind of have no choice because you're going to pop up. So they're just going to watch you. And if you're putting just solds, just listed, and maybe like market stats, like how are they going to find out about you? How are they going to learn about you?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they're going to like, we're all of us realtors have the same tools that we have access to. But a client wants to work with an individual, you know, like the personality. So it's like, you got to put yourself out there. And that you've done a great job of that too.
And you've also like you have a very like you're very funny and
don't talk about me. This is about
you. No, I want to talk about you. You add that comedic twist to your stuff, and people who like funny people, and I'm going to tell you that I think 99% of people like to laugh. They're going to be drawn to that, right? So I don't think they care about Matt's market stats. I don't, but like I like your videos. They make me laugh, right?
Yeah.
So
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
I don't laugh.
I know.
I'm
it's
that 1%.
really hard to tell when Matt is serious or he's telling a joke, but you're laughing now. So.
There we go. There's that 1%. Clip it, save it. Yeah, I'm kidding. I love laughter. Yeah, I think that's super crucial. As we head into the end of the pod now, because you're like a visionary, I could tell. Like you have just that mindset, you know?
Thanks.
Like you're just like, there's
It's a
no
big
stopping
compliment.
Jess. Yeah.
Thank you.
I just tell. So I'm sure your goals and ambitions are just ridiculous. You're a Bob Proctor person, like, you know.
My parents are sick of it.
Of what?
I think they're just confused. They're like, when is it going to stop? You know, like, is there always going to be more? I'm like, I think so. And I've come to accept that.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask. Like, do you have any like crazy goals you want to put out there, or like any big plans you want to just, you know, like things you just want to achieve?
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of them. So, I mean, I have my long-term goals. I don't think I'm going to be living in Canada.
I feel the same.
Sorry, mom and dad. I'll bring you guys with me. So yeah, I journal every day. I manifest whatever it is. But I really want to live by the water. I'm very much so in tune with like my spiritual side when I'm out by the water and the nature. Like I feel very, very at peace. So that's going to be something that I want to work towards. And that's why I got out of the industry, the field that I was in before. And that's why I'm always setting new goals. I definitely do. I'm stepping more into my leadership skills. I really enjoy that. I think it's a big part of who I am. So, you know, long term, I don't think I'm at a point where I'm going to have my own team right now. I definitely don't have all the skills under my belt just yet. But I could see myself really enjoying to lead a team. That for me, I get fulfillment when I can help other people. I'm just going to put it in short. So I don't know what that's going to look like. Like if you asked me if I knew where I was going to be right now, I thought I'd be teaching law and French for the rest of my life.
Français.
Yeah, Français, yeah. So I've got a few things that I'm lining up for the next few years, and I'm really excited to see. I guess now that I'm talking about it, I have to execute. So
there you go,
hold me
accountability.
accountable to it. Yeah, and like in terms of on the real estate side of things, for me, I would love to own a few Airbnb properties, and that's something that I'm working towards as well. So
You're sitting with the right guy.
I know. I see all your stuff.
Like my brain after?
Of course I am.
Good.
All my questions always. So yeah, and then on the personal side of things, it's just continuing this whole self-development journey. It's been really big in my own development, and I think it's really had an effect on my professional side. So yeah, that's that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you're the way you're talking, and only 2 years in, it's awesome.
Thank you.
Because there's people who are on teams for like 7 to 10 to 12 to 15. You know, it's just they can never, I guess, get the strength to like want to become their own individual. You know, and it's not even maybe that. Like, I'm not bashing it, because some teams are just amazing.
Yeah.
What's
you
the point
have
of
no
leaving?
reason to go.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, to come out and to step out in year 2 and say you want to start one soon, like that's huge. Shout out to the
I was
heaters.
about to say.
But yeah, okay. So like, I love it. I mean, it's you speak my language, so it's fantastic.
Italian?
I don't speak Italian. I am Italian. I'm just fake.
I gotcha. So just English.
Just English, yeah.
All right.
And spirituality. But
An animal language
sorry,
for your cat?
me and my cat have a language.
Okay.
It's
Gotcha.
no, none of that.
That's how we do it in
like
Russian.
That's like a curse word.
What?
Yeah, he gets pissed off. I do that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
do
make
that
sure
to
I
him.
never do that.
Yeah, so don't do that to a cat.
But you can do it to the Russian cats.
Russian cats, I will.
They get you.
Okay, done.
They'll come like.
To agents who are maybe having a hard time out there, if you have to drop a piece of knowledge for them, what would it be?
Having a hard time.
Yeah.
I would say surround yourself with people that love you, that want to be around you. That for me has been really, really big. So some days are going to be low. I have those days and I still have them now. But just make sure you get up, join the wake up call, work on your mindset. It all, I think, starts from the mindset. And tap into the things that you're really good at doing. You'd be surprised at how much can come out of that. So if you're good at speaking to people, go to a coffee shop, start talking to people. Just let people know what you do. If you're good at, creating content, tap into that. If you are a good writer, and I see, like, I think I'm a good storyteller. I use that in the work that I do. You know, I'll write posts and I'll use that kind of stuff in my stories to engage people. And some people are like, what are you doing? You post so many stories. I'm like, I post things and I ask questions and people respond to me. Like, if people want to talk, they want to talk, right? So tap into the things that really make you feel good and that you're good at, and work on your mindset, because your mindset will take you very, very far.
Agreed. Kind of said it better myself. To all your fans out there, your new ones, and your current, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. My handle is jess.sold, kind of like just sold. Jess.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Sold. Yeah.
Clever. Love it.
And also on YouTube, it's just my first name, last name, and then our podcast, Find Your Place Podcast.
And I hope everyone kind of found their place today.
I hope so too, or at least working towards there.
Yes,
And if ever you need a chat, you want to talk, Matt and I are open books. So happy to chat with people. Call me though. I like calling.
Yeah, right?
And FaceTime.
I'm a big call guy.
I'm not a texter. FaceTime me, I'll be so happy.
Yeah. All my friends hate me because I can't not text. The worst.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll call you.
But to everyone out there, thank you as always for tuning in. Please leave us a 5-star review if you can. Just hit the stars and make it 5. And also, please like, subscribe, share, forward it to everyone in your life. I know you have a lot of friends, so share with every single one of them. I don't have many, but you guys do. So until then, we will see you on the next one. Peace.
Bye.